My son, 18, has found out one of his ex-girlfriends is 8 months pregnant. He knew nothing of the sort of her being pregnant until now, and now he's just expected to accept everything, no questions asked. My daughter, 20, is good friends with this girl and knew about her pregnancy but said nothing to us because her friend asked her not to. My son was head over heels for this lady, but she ended up breaking his heart by cheating on him and was very needy and manipulative. He spent a lot of money on her because she would ask for gift my son couldn't even afford and convince him to use one of my credit cards to achieve it. My daughter, who isn't currently living with us and is actually rooming with her by her college, is also being manipulated by her and thinks she only does good and doesn't believe that she convinced her brother to use my credit or that she even cheated. Showed up with my son's ex-girlfriend at my door to help her tell us that she's pregnant. When I saw her there at my door visually pregnant, I knew she was going to be saying that my son is the father of her child, and immediately said that my son will not be putting in any money or time until there is a paternity test proving that is his child. My son backed me up and agreed. My daughter was horrified by my comment and accused me of encouraging him to be a terrible father and was upset I didn't even give them a chance to explain themselves. My son's ex started crying, saying you always assume the worst of me, and that she went 8 months of pregnancy alone and the least we could do is ensure she is taken care of for the betterment of his child. I do agree that if this is his child, we are gonna ensure mom is doing well to ensure the baby is doing well, but I don't want my son to be involved with her only to get his heart broken again and only to find out that the child isn't his. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. You're protecting your son. She has a history of cheating/manipulating situations, and it's better to find out now than later down the line. If it's not his, problem solved, and it'll knock the problem with your daughter still being under her influence right out. If it's his, there'll be stuff to sort out, for sure, but at least you'll know without a doubt. If she cheated, then a paternity test is a must. Even if she hadn't, given the odd circumstances, it's a reasonable ask for the parent of a teenager whose life is about to change. Not the idiot. What's up with the sister? There are confidences you keep, and there are secrets which are always going to come out and explode. Everyone would be better off with more than a month to plan for the baby about to enter the world. Not the idiot, that's life. They were in a relationship, she cheated, they broke up, and now she's pregnant. Anyone, no matter how old, should ask for a paternity test. The fact that she got defensive is a bit of a red flag. She should welcome the paternity test if she's being truthful. And your daughter seems naive if she assumes that a woman wouldn't lie to a man about maternity. This happens far too often, unfortunately. Quick update. My daughter and I spoke on the phone. I explained to her that if the baby really is his, then the text will only lock in his responsibility for the baby, and that there is no way I'd ever encourage my son to abandon any of my grandbabies. My daughter finally agreed that the test would be beneficial and told me she'd call me back later. I ended up getting a text back instead of a call asking if they could come back over to talk, which I agreed to. When they came over, my son's ex admitted to not actually knowing who the father was and that she had been in a relationship with multiple guys, which is why she took so long telling my son, because she was trying to figure out who's the father of her child, but she's now certain it's my son. She agreed to do the paternity test as soon as we able to do one on the condition I pay for it. One other thing I found out is that my daughter and my son's ex have actually developed a romantic relationship, which is beyond shocking to me. I mean, it explains why she'd been sticking up for my son's ex as much as she'd been doing, but it's just not something I thought my daughter would ever do. I mean, that's her brother's ex, someone who broke his heart. It's just not something I can understand. I'll always love my daughter, but it just hurts me seeing my son feeling really hurt by this whole situation. Me, 26, and my boyfriend, 34, have been dating for nearly a year and a half now. Tomorrow, he's coming to Thanksgiving dinner at my dad's house and meeting my family for the first time. I'm extremely family oriented, and it's so important to me that he's finally meeting them. This also means the world to my family because I rarely bring men home, and they've been wanting to meet him for a long time. He's aware of this and how much this meeting means to me, and has assured me that he's looking forward to it too. This afternoon, he asked if his roommate could come too. I was caught off guard and said no. I didn't even ask my family, who I'm sure would say yes, but it's a hard boundary for me. I barely know his roommate, but he's military and will not be able to be with his own family for the holiday, which is why my boyfriend asked. I understand and appreciate his compassion and kindness, but I need this event to be just him, me, and my family without his buddy, who is a stranger to me. I called him to talk through it, but he's extremely upset and wasn't really responding. I asked if he's still coming and he said yes. Then, I asked if he's okay and he said no, but that he will be. I told him to reach out to me when he's ready and that I understand if he doesn't want to talk to me right now, so I haven't heard from him since the phone call a couple hours ago. I feel like a massive idiot, but this is one of the rare events where I've put my foot down in this relationship and refused to accommodate his wants. So, am I the idiot? Updates. For more clarity and because people are making a lot of unfounded assumptions, I have briefly met his roommate on multiple occasions. We barely know each other, though, because he has a schedule that makes it so he's rarely around when I am, and we've never had the opportunity to have a full conversation surpassing basic greetings. I made it very clear that I'd love to have him and include him in my family, but the first meeting between my parents and boyfriend wasn't the place to do so. My boyfriend has not met my family because I'm very particular about who I bring home and will not bring someone home unless I am 100% comfortable that that is the correct choice. I'm protective of my family and don't want them to get attached. I get it's unconventional, but it's my choice and every party involved respects that. I ended up apologizing to my boyfriend, asking my parents, and inviting his roommate, who wasn't aware my BF had asked about him coming. He can't even come anyways. I appreciate the comments, even the ones calling me a heartless monster, but no one is put out in the end. No idiots here. You're allowed to set whatever boundaries you want, but don't be surprised if, after thinking it over, he decides it's a deal breaker. People in the military together often become family to each other, so from his POV, you basically told him he has to leave a brother alone because your heart isn't big enough to include him. He'll probably honor his commitment to your family to attend, but I'll be very surprised if the relationship lasts past this weekend. If this was Valentine's Day or your parents' anniversary, I'd understand better. Thanksgiving and Christmas are typically about giving and generosity. I think it would have been better for everyone if you had let the roommate join. I personally think it would have been good to see the BF interact with people he just met along with someone he is comfortable with. On the other hand, now, your BF has now seen this side of you and he may not like it. Was it worth the risk of him thinking differently of you? Soft, you are the idiot. Not the idiot at all. Especially when you mentioned this is one of the rare times I put my foot down. Rethink the dynamic, please. He may have had good intentions, but it still is entitled to expect to bring A+1 when he's A+1 himself to meet your parents. Those saying it's Thanksgiving and morally wrong, the man is a stranger to OP, she deserves to feel comfortable and enjoy this moment between her family and partner. I'm going to try to keep this short. My husband, 32, and I, 27, have a deal that I'm sure lots of couples have. Whoever cooks, the other cleans. Generally this works pretty good, but my husband is notorious for leaving the biggest mess. I'm talking every single bottle, wrapper, food scrap, left on the counter. Every dish, left where he used it. Every spice left out. Sometimes it takes longer to clean than it takes to make and eat the food just because of how messy he is. I, on the other hand, am a clean as you cook type of person. I use something, I put it away right away. I throw scraps in the garbage when I'm done chopping. I fully prep before starting to cook so that by the time I'm finished and dinner is served, all that's left are the dishes, which is normally piled beside the sink, and wipe the countertop. Now don't get me wrong, I don't expect my husband to do the same. But I've had the conversation with him plenty of times where I ask him to at least throw out food scraps and put away bottles/spices he uses, so that all that's left is dishes and wiping the counters/floors. He agreed, but eventually falls back into his old ways. So, I've started doing the same to him. Each time it's my turn to cook, I leave the kitchen in a similar state to how he leaves it, scraps out, every spice and bottle out, dishes left untouched. And he's made a comment every single time about how much of a mess I've left him, and how it isn't fair because he's going to spend ages cleaning. I've used these opportunities to explain that this is what he does to me every time, but he denies it being that bad. Today, he did the same thing. Except I took photos of the state of the kitchen the last time he cooked. When I showed him this in response to him complaining about the mess, he got defensive. Said that it's not fair because that's just how he cooks and that he doesn't like to waste time cleaning when he's hungry. I said it's incredibly unfair that he expects it of me, but won't do the same. But now he's been making comments about how he doesn't feel appreciated because of the meals he makes. I'll admit, he does make some great homemade from scratch meals. But I do too. And I'd say our cooking skills are about equal, although he might be a little better in some areas. But his comments are making me wonder if I'm nitpicking or if I really am being unfair to him. I get that everybody is different, but it's just awful when I have to clean a gigantic mess and he reaps the benefits of my cleaning. I do feel like I'm a bit of an idiot even for saying that. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You tried to reasonably show him that what he's doing to you isn't fair. He just doesn't like the proof and refuses to admit it's a problem because he wants to go back to the way it was, which is minimal effort when you cook, and he gets to make the kitchen look like a tornado when he does. The scales are tipped in his favor. Of course he's going to want it his way. He's being manipulative to get his way by making you feel guilty. Does he not appreciate when you cook? Regardless of the mess you've left? This street works both ways. Definitely not the idiot, but he's being a manipulative one. Not the idiot here. Your hubs needs a gentle reality check, because he's the idiot here. 25 plus years married here, speaking to a simple ethic: treat your partner like you want to be treated. Reading this, I'm amazed he didn't grow to it when you left things lying around like him. He does need to step up and honor your family, be learning to be egalitarian. Not the idiot. You're not being unfair to him. And he's trying to make excuses for inexcusable behavior. That's just how I cook, is not a justification. He can learn to put things away as he goes along. He's already proven that he can. He just doesn't want to. In your place, I'd be standing in the kitchen as he cooks. If he uses the chili powder, when he's done, I'd say, now put the chili powder away. And if he complains, I'd just tell him, I make it easy for you when I cook. I'm entitled to the same consideration.